Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day so far. My name is JurassicKM and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be ranking the Super Colossal Jurassic World figures from Mattel. At one point, these were the largest Jurassic action figures ever made until the Brachiosaurus and Dreadnoughtus came along, and we have a nice variety of species for this line, but which one do I think is truly the best? Starting at the bottom in 8th place is the most recent addition to the Super Colossals, as well as the most recent addition to my collection, the Chaos Theory Allosaurus. I don't think it looks bad, but it does seem off. This figure does seem to take its shape, and colors for that matter, more from the recent Ruthless Rampage Allosaurus rather than the more screen-akin previous sculpts. Not that those sculpts were perfect, as the tails were far too short, but this Allosaurus should have had a longer, more narrow skull. While I don't think this fully captures the look of its on-screen counterpart, the rest of the figure is fine, and the osteoderms down the back are a nice touch. I do not disagree when I hear criticisms of this looking too cartoony, and on further inspection I noticed that the texture of the skin looks far more generic than some of the other Super Colossals. I would like to repaint mine to look more screen accurate to the one seen in Battle at Big Rock and Chaos Theory. Heck, I would like to eventually repaint all of my Super Colossals, but I don't know if that alone will quote-unquote fix this figure. In 7th place, surprisingly, is the Fallen Kingdom Tyrannosaurus Rex. The version I have is the Battle Damage electronic version exclusive to Walmart, but this one was also released without electronics and even received an updated paint scheme for Dominion. The T-Rex doesn't have nearly as much skin texturing or osteoderms as the other Super Colossals, and if it were based on that alone, it would be at the bottom. However, unlike the Allosaurus, I can look at the sculpt and immediately think, that's the Jurassic franchise T-Rex. While it pains me to see my favorite dinosaur ranked so low, it just goes to show you how good the rest of the Super Colossal figures are. Fun fact, you can also modify this into a baby T-Rex from the Lost World, although admittedly mine needs a redo. Up next, in 6th place, is the Apex Predator from Dominion, the Giganotosaurus. The amount of detail packed into the sculpt is something to behold, and say what you will about the Dominion Giga design, this figure does a good job of representing it. What holds this one back for me is the paint apps. While it goes out a little further on the tail than the T-Rex or Carnotaurus, there are so many details in the sculpt that could have used a touch of paint, like the scars, and this is the only Super Colossal figure that lacks painted toe claws. I also don't like how Mattel used this green color for the plastic when the Giga has always looked more gray to me. Keeping with Dominion, we have Atrociraptor Ghost taking the 5th spot. I love the texture and look of this figure, and I'm thankful that Mattel only made one Super Colossal Atrocity instead of the whole pack, because at this point in the game, the Super Colossals had gotten ridiculously expensive, and they've only gone up since then. While Ghost isn't my favorite design, this figure does do a fairly decent job of capturing her likeness. The patterns and colors of the stripes aren't exactly a one-to-one recreation, but hey, none of the Mattel figures are. The only issue that I have with this sculpt is that the barb beard, for lack of a better term, isn't as prominent on the figure as it is in the film, but perhaps that was a safety design. Moving away from Dominion, but keeping with Dromaeosaurids, we have the Dino Rivals Velociraptor Blue in 4th place. I know there are a lot of people who are tired of Blue or never cared for her to begin with, but come on. Look at this figure. This is a great recreation of Blue with very flashy looking eyes and skin texturing that completely blew the previous year's T-Rex out of the water. I picked up a second one of these on clearance to repaint it as a tiger stripe raptor from the Lost World, and let me tell you, the sculpt basically repaints itself. If I can find another one of these at a garage sale or something, I would love to snag it and give it a 93 raptor paint job. Now that we're in the top 3, this is where the list gets tough. These 3 are so close, any one of them could take the top spot, but as the old saying goes, there can only be one. Coming in at 3rd place for the bronze is the Camp Cretaceous Indominus Rex. This figure is stunning, and the amount of detail that Mattel put into it is just mind-boggling. While the eyes are a little plain, it is a minor gripe that I have with the figure overall. This one is begging for a wash and a dry brush, which I will do someday. Taking the silver in second place is Camp Cretaceous Carnotaurus Toro. As great as the Indominus is, Toro ekes ahead slightly with its details, textures, and colors. Now, yes, the colors don't match Toro exactly. Again, show me a Mattel figure that does. But they're pretty dang close, and Mattel nailed the shape and texture of the wound on Toro's face. I got a second one of these for my birthday one year, and I intend to have 2 giant Toros in my collection. One regular and one extra crispy. Finally, coming in by a hair for the gold is the Dino Trackers Indoraptor. While some may argue that the Indominus has the closest color match to its on-screen counterpart by being printed in gray plastic, I still think the Indoraptor takes it. Again, barely. I love that the Indoraptor was given a glossier sheen than any other Super Colossal figure, capturing the look it had when it was out in the rain in Fallen Kingdom, and this one actually has a healthy amount of paint going out onto the tail with the stripe on its side. Finally, there are some angles that I look at this thing and I think it looks exactly like the animatronic from the film. Again, this was a tough call, but Indoraptor takes the gold. And that is my ranking of the Mattel Super Colossal figures. Even with their flaws, I do enjoy the Super Colossals, and I'm curious to see what will get the treatment next year. If I were a betting man, I'd probably guess Spinosaurus, although a Super Colossal Dilophosaurus or Scorpius Rex would be cool too. Personally, I'd like to see a Super Colossal Compsognathus, or, even though this would defeat the purpose of the swallowing feature, Super Colossal Baby Bumpy, because either of those figures would basically be life-sized, and how cool would that be? Folks, if you've made it this far into the video, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for any future notifications, and share this video around. If you want to support me further, you can support the Patreon, which is in the link below, as well as the link to all my socials. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, this is JurassicKM, signing off.